Scott, it's such a pleasure, to have you on the couch, to spend some time with you. Every time I talk to you, I learn something new about your vision, about where you've taken this company so far, about where the company's going. You've put together a fantastic team that has come on board to assist you every step of the way. But talk to me, what makes you, wake up in the morning and be so energized and so focused on this vision that you have so clearly?
Firstly, thank you for acknowledging the Zapme itself, I guess, because it is an awesome team and it's a great company, and we're super excited that we're getting it out there to the world at the moment. But what gets us up? I mean, it's the concept itself. Like I think it's all about having solutions and problems, and this one is a big one. This is fundamentally, I would say, one of the biggest problems we have in the world, and I guarantee you, I don't think anyone that has traveled the world or been involved with a phone number or data plan has not had a problem.
Yes.
In some way, shape or form. Whether it's bill shock or whether it's travel or whether it works or whatever it is. And that's what happened with me overseas. But I guess the vision of Zapme is to simplify everything. To make it very accessible, very easy. You can sit on your couch, you can purchase numbers, you can purchase data ready for your travel, wherever you want to go. You can do it all with the finger on your phone, and you don't have to stand in line at a telecommunications company. If you lose your phone overseas, that's it, you're done. Whereas Zapme, you buy another phone, log in, and bang.
You're back on.
You're back on. So it's all about simplicity, and it's all about, oh my God, why haven't I had this before?
Yes.
Right, so that's strictly the reason. The second one is the name itself, is that we'd like to, over time, create the vernacular Zapme later. Now, that isn't just about telecommunications, phoning, video calling. It's about payment systems, it's about a whole multiple, which we can talk about at a vision plan. But that's what gets us up, because every day we come up with new ideas.
Yes.
The problem is you've always got to make sure that new ideas are great, but fundamentally at heart, what are we? And fundamentally at heart, we are a telecommunications communications company.
Yes.
That is where we sit. Everything else sort of comes along underneath it. But and that's what we do every day. The team just workshops and say, oh, we love that, but let's do that later, or let's bring that into year 2 or year 3. And I guess that's where we're going to announce these news stories on the ICO and our platforms, telling people what we're doing and how we're doing it.
Well, you've brought us now into this next questions, and which is about the ICO and the fact that not only has the company been innovative in its Web2 form, but now the company is going a step further, being one of the first telcos in the world that you can now, today, you can download Zapme and you can pay with telco with your traditional credit card, or you can pay with crypto. And the exciting thing for me isn't the fact that you guys have added this. The exciting thing for me is that the second you added it, people started using it.
They did. It was actually quite amazing. We were sitting there going, we added it. You do the old Google and Apple and Google Play, and it uploaded. And then I actually said to the team, I said, who purchased that? Thinking it was a team member, and it wasn't. It was a client out there in the world. We know who the client is, of course, or a customer, but we were like, we didn't even tell anyone. We didn't even get it out there. We haven't even marketed this thing, and that then straight away showed us all like, oh my God, this is a thing. 400 million plus people in crypto. Why can they not pay for phone numbers and data with their cryptocurrencies?
And not just that, but also like if you think about a lot of countries, we talk global, right? Because that means global. So a lot of countries, like, there's a lot of people, a lot of countries in the African continent that have skipped banks and are going straight to Web3.
Yes.
And if you just think about them, and you just think about from a numbers perspective, just 1% of all of them that are going to now, for the first time, they're going to have their own Web3 banking system, which they were excluded from Web2.
Yes.
And now they're going to go into this app, which is a global app that can have global numbers. You can have a USA number, a European number, Australian number, from their country, from their home.
Yes.
And they can pay with crypto.
I know.
Like, it's exciting.
It is.
It really is. How, like initially when you guys were thinking about the roadmap and thinking about going into Web3, you've sped up that process, haven't you? Like initially Web3 was going to come in a little bit later.
It was for no other reason than you want to make sure you get the systems right, you want the marketing to go out there. So focus was, core countries, core marketing, and then everyone would tell everyone. So for example, I'll just use examples. If you're marketing to Australia, USA and England, well, they know people in every other country in the world. So why market to the world? Start there. But then what happened was, the little map started lighting up. People will use it in Africa, Peru, Argentina, like all over. And we're like, well, how do they even find out about this thing?
Yeah.
And then, of course, that led us to crypto payment. We were, wait a second, we really, truly are borderless.
Yes.
What else is borderless? Cryptocurrency. And we went, well, we need to get this thing in as fast as we can because now people can purchase those numbers and data with their crypto. So it gives you two borderless worlds come together.
Funny you mentioned about you track where things are going and all that.
Yeah.
I found really, really fascinating when I first heard about it, about the dashboards, the analytics, how you guys are tracking everything. And these conversations on the couch, I love them, but specifically for that reason, right? You can jump on a company website, you can look at stuff, you can download apps, you can use them, you can judge a company by how many reach, followers, and all that it's got.
Yeah.
But these conversations really bring you closer to companies.
Yeah.
And I was fascinated when you said to me, we've got a dashboard for this and we have a dashboard for that, and I can tell you exactly how many people use it and how many people are where.
Yeah.
Like, it's so cool. Tell me about your tech side, your tech team. It's such an amazing team, super motivated, on top of everything, every single day they're on it.
Yeah.
Talk to me about how you built that side of the business.
Yeah, we've been conscious of that since day one. We wanted to make sure we build this from ground up. We don't want to bring in other third-party systems to make this run. So we have built it, coded from day one. The tech team themselves have been with Zapme for 2.5 years. They haven't changed. They're awesome people. We have a tech team from here to Philippines, India, Europe, the whole lot.
Yeah.
But every day we have stand-ups with them. We control all the root servers, we control the tech side of it, we control the source code, GitHub, the whole lot. So we made sure, so one day as we grow, and more importantly, that when we partner with companies. So if we partner with a major firm, the first thing they're going to say is, how's your security?
Yes.
How's your cyber? Where's it built? Who has access to all this information? So the simple answer is us. So when we do partner an API with them, and they're selling, say, a ticket to Argentina, and we say, hey, we'll give you a phone number to there. That way they can look into our back end and they can see that we actually are secure and built from there. So we've always had that at forefront because we wanted to make sure we were.
Yeah, I think, so speaking about culture and, building a culture within an organization, well, you need to spend time with them and find out what motivates them and what drives them and what gets them up every morning. And by having stand-ups every day and having that constant communication, it also lets them know that come tomorrow, what you said you were going to do today, we're going to bring it up at the next meeting. And so it just gives everybody, and brings everybody in together. I know that, yourself and Joel have a major role to play in the vision of the marketing, and Joel's fantastic, creatively, like what he builds is beautiful. I mean, they are some of the best pitch decks.
It is.
Visually, they are absolutely stunning what you guys build. How fun is it working with a mate, being co-founders together, and tell me about that dynamic of the yin and the yang, between you two.
Yeah, we're completely different people, and that's what makes it awesome. It's like he does stuff that I could never do, and I do stuff that he can never do, and it seems to work. And we've known each other many years, which is great because it does sort of divide it. But at the same time, talking about team, we've had teams where we've employed them for a job, and we've turned out they're actually better at another job. So we can pivot very quickly.
Yes.
And we make that decision extremely quickly. We do it all the time. And we're like, wait a second, we didn't know that they did that, we didn't know they did this, and we'll move with the team as well. So who works for us now in Zapme and who's part of the team probably didn't start as they were originally, and they know it. Like we've moved them around because we give them the freedom of that side of it. So not only are they a back-end developer, they might be the projects manager of a certain thing that we want investigated to see if it'll work for Zapme. So we give them exciting projects as well as working on the core fundamental projects.
Talk to me about your experience. We have not touched up yet about your corporate experience and some of the things that you've achieved in your career. We have not touched about this yet. And I know some of it, but I don't know the full scope. Talk to me about Scott as at the executive level that you're at, and some of the cool things that you've done in your past.
Yeah, I guess I divide my life into two lives. One is corporate life and one is entrepreneurial life. My corporate life has evolved around cruise ships, hotel management, casinos, convention centres, health clubs, managing up to hundreds and hundreds of people, right down to being the entrepreneur by yourself, of which I've done a couple of times as well. Actually, one of my investors, the first investor into Zapme, I've known for 30 years. And her name's Tracy, and Tracy and I started the very first internet cafe in Alaska back in the day, in the 90s actually. So we built a little company called Connections and had all the cruise ship people come off and they'd go on the internet and send home, and we used to sell phone cards.
How crazy is that?
Isn't it crazy? So we used to sell the phone, get them and buy them.
With the dial-up, packages.
Scratch the back sort of thing.
So it was what, like 15-minute increments back then? Like
I
you're buying it?
I used to buy 3,000 cards at a time. And so Tracy was a big part of, one, my history back then, and two, my history now.
Yes.
I guess. So talking about, so that's my corporate life, was that. And then the entrepreneurial life is just solution based. Basically, if there's a problem, you've got to come up with a solution. And yes, it drives me crazy, and there's far too much going on up there. But I like it. I don't know why. I could go back and get a corporate job tomorrow, but do I want one? That's the question I ask myself.
Yes.
And same with Joel. Joel's the same. Yeah, entrepreneur by heart. Sits there every day. We know the entrepreneurial story. It's hard.
It is.
It's hard, as you know.
One win, 1,000 losses.
Absolutely.
But that one win is a major breakthrough.
Yeah.
And it puts all the negatives are gone.
Yeah.
It's like, now we're flying.
I know.
Tomorrow, a new drama.
Yeah.
But tell me also, like, what I really like is all the experience that you've had from a public speaking perspective as well.
Uh-huh.
Because not only have you had that corporate level experience of managing, hundreds of people and knowing where to put people and where to replace them if needed, but then also the way you speak and the way you show the vision, not just to investors or the world, but just even inside the team to make sure that they understand where you're going.
Yeah.
Talk to me about that experience, like your on-stage experiences.
Yeah, I think a lot of it's to do with authenticity, to be honest with you. I'm happy to tell a story, and that story could be positive or negative. I think people want to know why you do what you do, and that includes the team. All the time I bring up to the team, the reason why we're doing this is because this happened or this happened.
Actually, you do say that a lot.
I do.
The reason why we're doing it this way.
and we can feed back off each other, but I do, and I think it's important, instead of saying we're doing it, there's a reason behind why we're doing it.
Yeah.
And then everyone, we talk and we discuss and we debate, but there has to be a reason, right? You don't just do something for no reason.
When I hear you speak, I see those images where it's like the leader is pushing and everyone is pushing with him.
Yep.
Not the leader is sitting on a chair and everybody's pushing along.
Yeah.
You're like, this is what we're doing,
yeah,
but this is why, and this is how we're going to do it together.
Yep.
I think that's important.
And that's what's come out of the UI, the development, as I said before with Joel, the new looks, the new feels, the way the tech works, why cryptocurrency was put into the fold, why people are backing us in investment, is because we always talk about why, the reason we're doing it.
Yes.
And then you've got to plug the holes, right? You've got the investment side and you've got the team side and tech side, but there has to be a reason.
No.
There's just no point on saying we're building this with no reason. So we always debate and talk about it. Yeah. And I think we're pretty good at it. We're very good at pivoting. We understand when something's not working.
Yes.
And we're quite happy to change.
I'm, honestly super excited about the coming months and leading up towards the end of the year. I think, where we are now and where we're going to be already by December is really, really exciting. And the momentum, it's funny, like, with entrepreneurship, and when a giant company begins at its year 1, year 2, year 3 levels, right? A lot of people don't get it. But then I feel that these next 6 months, right, that leading up to December, it's going to start, like, light bulbs are going to start going off at people going, oh, I get it. Yeah. How hard is that as an entrepreneur to explain to somebody, right now, we're this big, but we will be this big by the time we get to, year 3.
Yeah.
How hard is that? Trying to explain and get people to come on board when there's nothing there.
I think it's hard for 2 reasons. One is because going from this big to this big is because of what it is. In other words, people ask me all the time, oh, but I have this app, or I have this, I already have a phone number, or I already have that. So trying to educate why we could be this big without changing your habits you already have, that's hard.
Yes.
And I guess the second part of that is just the sheer volume of what we can do globally.
Yes.
You know, and just getting that story out there and explaining why we're different. And I get it every day, Joel gets it every day, the team gets it every day, where somebody will come back to us and say, you know that thing that that Zapme? I say, yeah. Well, guess what? I used it the other day. I said, why? They go, oh, I called the bank in America, my old number expired, I downloaded Zapme, I bought a US number, I gave them that number, they called me up, they verified me, and here I was in Sydney. I went, done.
Simple.
And then he goes, I'm going to tell people.
And
so that's been the story.
That's a challenging thing from a marketing perspective, because it is global, because you can do anything, because we can do anything doesn't mean we should do everything.
Correct.
And that's why it's so important to hit the different verticals. I mean, you touch on the vertical of just the dating and people getting a second number from a privacy perspective.
Yes.
Soccer coaches, sports coaches,
yes.
Professionals, all these are all niches.
Mm-hmm.
These are all niches that are coming.
Yep.
They're all going to start to snowball and understand that, hey, you know what, I should get a second number.
Yeah.
I should do this.
Yeah.
And it's this education piece, and there's conversations like these,
Yeah.
which are so important and so crucial, so that people go, oh, I do need a second number.
Well, how many times have you given your primary number out to, I don't know, a raffle or a sign up or a purchase on the internet or whatever it is, and the next minute you get all these pings from all these people who have sold your number off to whoever
Too many times.
Done. So buy a Zapme number and get rid of it every month and buy a new one.
Yeah.
Change it every month.
Simple.
Change it every week. Change it every year.
And
Whatever
I think as well, from Australia, like we touched on in other conversations that we've had today, if I'm traveling, I will be going to either Qatar or Dubai at some point to then get to Europe, to go to multiple countries within Europe, to then come back to Australia.
Yeah.
That's a general Australian holiday going to
Yes.
Europe. This is happening every day.
Yeah.
And what I love about Zapme is that we're not reinventing the wheel. These are problems that today,
Yes.
somebody tonight from Adelaide at 10:30
Yep.
will fly out
Yep.
using Qatar Airways
Yes.
and will go to Europe
Yep.
and will have a data problem
100%.
at some point.
Absolutely 100%. I guarantee you there will. Two reasons again. I go back to two again. I keep having twos. But one of them is they think they've activated their international roaming to a country that doesn't exist. So they go, activate the international. Doesn't mean it works in
Wherever you're going.
Wherever you're going. You've got to read the fine print and figure out where that international roaming actually works.
Yes.
Zapme you don't. 200 plus countries.
Well,
Your
I'll give you
number
a
will
real
work
life.
anywhere.
I'll give you a real life example. In Italy, there are certain parts of Italy where one telco works better, and the other one has low coverage.
Yes.
And then you go to another part of Italy, and it will be the opposite.
Yeah.
So I've had this before, where you need to have two telcos within one country
Yes.
to have good data connection.
Yes.
You don't do that with them.
No, correct. We actually aggregate all the towers together, so it'll grab the nearest signal and work off that tower.
Yeah.
Which is awesome, because if it does go down or you're not near the right one,
Yes.
we'll use the other one. That's why we priced the way we did.
Talk to me about the cruise ships. We've not touched on that.
No, we haven't.
We've talked about everything today.
Yeah.
Tell me about the cruise ships. This is exciting.
Yeah, it goes back to your question before about our tech stack and how we built it. So we built it where we run off our network towers around the world called PSTN lines, and then you have, of course, WhatsApps of the world that work off VoIP and data. So what we've built is actually a combination of your numbers working off tower and off VoIP. So if you are on a cruise ship and you're 500 nautical miles out in the middle of the ocean, all the numbers that you bought from Zapme will work. So if the doctor calls you from the middle of the ocean to give you the good news or the bad news, the phone will work in the middle of the ocean because it runs off and it converts from that PSTN over to VoIP and hits you in the middle of the ocean. Also up there in the skies while you're on a plane. Yes, you're going to have the connection on the data while you're on the cruise ship and that, because that's how you get the phone call in, but it's built so it does a little conversion.
Right.
Which is super cool.
It'll work.
It'll work. I've made many phone calls out there in the middle of the ocean on a cruise ship.
Yep.
And I can phone on any of my multiple country numbers.
Yes.
Because they're always live, always instant, and always active.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Incredible.
It's a super exciting time, man, I tell you. And thank you very much for coming on as an ambassador, because it's I think you can feel the energy behind the team as well.
Well, the funny thing is that I've been in telco before, right? So
That's
my
right.
journey in business development management began in telco. Then I went and worked in marketing and then found the blockchain. And funny enough, I come back to all of them. All the experiences that I've had in life have now been merged into this one thing because you do all of those things. You touch all of them. You touch marketing, you touch global, you touch blockchain, and you touch telco. And it's just funny how life works that way sometimes. You know, like sometimes you don't know the bigger picture, but the bigger picture is coming. And all these little lessons that you've learned along the way all get molded into this. So when you told me about the ambassador thing and why you wanted me to come on board, for me it's like a no-brainer. I'm like, yeah, of course. I mean, you're solving a problem, it's real, I can use it, it works. You're bringing, for the first time, I'm not sure, for the first time in Australia, that's probably a stretch, but one of the few telco, Web3, Web2 plays ever, and it's coming out of Australia. You know, we're super proud in Australia about, you know, our startups in the Web3 space, and this just takes it to a whole new level of excitement because the utility and the global reach that Zapme will have, it will literally onboard people into Web3. That is exciting.
And with the simplicity of it, I guess. It's
100%.
You know, but everyone goes, you know, cryptocurrency, blockchain, I don't get it. Do you want to buy a number and use crypto? Easy. And that's what we're trying to do. Make it back to the UI UX again. It's that simplicity of being able to do it. It's touch of the button stuff. You don't have to work out the settings and the whole lot.
I can't wait. We're going to sit back here 6 months from now. We're going to look back at this. And I think that the conversation is just going to be completely different about where Zapme is. But no, I really appreciate your time.
No, thank you. I'm looking forward to the story. It's going to be an exciting 6 months. I can't wait to just tell people about all the other stuff that we're doing as well.
I know.
Because that's the cool part. This is fundamentally a communication app which will help everyone, but the stuff that we're going to bring onto it and tag into it and key strategic partners and payments and a whole range of things, that's where it's going to get pretty amazing.
I know. But on that note, thank you all so much for watching. And if you do enjoy this type of videos and you want to follow the journey of where this company is going, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button.